Have you ever wondered why the atheist men still get cheated, unrejected, or ghosted, while some men with far less seem to effortlessly, when the heart's oft most amazing women? It's confusing, right? Because we've been told that if you have money, you'll have everything. But what if I told you that money is just a piece of the puzzle, and thought there are 6 things women secretly love more than money? In this video, you're going to discover what those things are and how to master them using wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers who ever lived. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more power on Stoic philosophy and modern relationships. And watch till the end, because what you are about to learn could completely transform your love life. Let me tackle back. The year is 175 AD. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, philosopher, and one of the most powerful men in the world, is writing in his journal. What would latter recommend? He's not writing for the public. He's not trying to look smarter. He's writing for himself, for clarity, for truth. Despite ruling an empire, leading armies, and having Gunamagental, Marcus Aurelius was not obsessed with power or money. Why? Because he understood smithing most men today. The things that truly attract loyalty, love. Why Stoic attraction isn't about performance and admiration from others, especially women, are internal. Iman, those internal qualities, they're more powerful than any luxury car or black MX card. Let's divine the 6 things women secretly love more than money, and the Stoic wisdom that helps you master each of them. I can't see emotional control. Do you remember that first time you truly fell for someone? Not just a crush, but that deep, soul-tingling kind of love. Maybe it wastes away. She laughed at your terrible jokes, or how she looked at you like you were the only man in the world. Maybe it was a simple moment, walking hand in hand at sunset, or lying on the couch, or hidden in your chest. No words, just presence. Now let me ask you this. Where did it all go wrong? Think about it for a second. Why it something you did, something she said, or was if way you reacted when things didn't go your way? You see, most love stories didn't end because the love disappears. They end because emotions take over: anger, jealousy, insecurity, fear. Suddenly, you're not speaking to her, you're speaking at her. You raise your voice, you say things you don't mean, and looks at you differently. That sparkle in her eyes gone, because no, she's no longer feeling safe. She's questioning if the man she fell for is still there. This is where Marcus Aurelius comes in. Marcus wasn't just a philosopher, he was an emperor. A man responsible for an entire empire, making life or death decisions daily. And yet, in his writings, Heck instantly reminded himself of one truth. You have power over your mind. Note, outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Read that again. You can't control what she says. You can't control if she leaves. You can't control her mood, her past, or her fears. But you can't control your response. When you master your emotions, you become the eye of the storm, calm, centered, powerful, and that, my friend, is the kind of man women never forget. So, now I want you to think back. Waste there, a time when you let your anger push her away. Did you ever say something in a heated moment that still haunts you today? It's okay, we've all been there, but no, you get a second chance. It's not with her but with the next woman, or more importantly, with yourself. Emotional control doesn't mean you suppress your feelings, it means you'll master them. It means when she tests you, because she will use grounded. It means when life throws you curvy balls, you don't break. You bend in beauty. One, emotional control over chaos. This women feel it. They feel that in your silence. You feel fine your steadiness, and they trust it, because in a world full of impulsive emotional men, the one who stays calm is king. So ask yourself, next time she'll pulls away, next time she says something hurtful, next time your pride wants to, you react, or will you spend like a Stoic? Because the man who owns her heart is the man who can hold his own. And if you're still with me, that means something inside you already knows this is true. You're not here by accident. You're here because your story is still being written. And brother, the next chapter, it starts with emotional control to a purpose. You remember hers, the way she leaned in when you talked that night. She whispered, I've never felt this way before. It felt like magic, didn't it? Two were in love, not just with her, but with the idea of her, with the feelings gave you. But then something changed, grew. Distant short text, less time. You asked if something was wrong. She said, I don't know. It's not you. I just feel like something's missing. And you were confused. You thought you were doing everything right. You gave her attention, time, even money when Chenardate bothers the thing nobody tells. You doesn't live in comfort. It breathes in movement. And women, they didn't fall in love with a man, they fell in love with his mission. Let me ask you some right now. If someone asked you, what would you say? Would you have an answer? Would you say I want to bridge, or I want to be successful? Or would you say I'm building something meaningful? I'm chasing something bigger than myself. You sin a man is walking his path when he's locked in focus, building becoming fats when women feel most drawn to him, not because he's signaling them but Beck as his presence carries direction. Marcus Aurelius, despot being emperor Aeom, didn't sit on his throne drinking wine all day, he lived with intensity, writing in his journal by candlelight, mending hymns very day. Do not was what remains of your life into purpose-driven life, speculating about others. It is not a real job to direct the universe, but to direct your own steps. Purpose isn't about being busy. It's about moving within tangent. Let me tell you a story, may bites yours, or maybe it's every man's tear. Was once a guy deeply in love, hemmed at her laugh. He cooked for her. They talked for hours. But as the months passed, she started asking questions. What do you want to do with your life? Where are you going? And he'd smile, shrugged, say something like, I'm still figuring it out. She waited. She supported. But deep inside her heart began to drift, not because he was a bad man, but because he had no map, no fire. And one day, she said goodbye. Not because she didn't love him, but because I didn't love something bigger than her. Women want to feel your purpose. They want to walk beside a manos going somewhere, even if they don't now where a road leads. So let me ye chat. Would you suffer for proudly base when you find that when you stop living just for weekends and pleasure and provel, and you start living for a mission? Women feel it. They respect they desire it deeply. So don't chase your purpose, because when you're aligned with your mission, fight woman doesn't run from you. Sharon's Toyu 3. Self-discipline. Have ever looked in the mirror after a breakup unthought, was it me? By you replayed every moment, every text left unread, every argument that indeed with silence every time she looked alike she was the man you used to be. You loved her, you would have done anything for her. You thought love alone would be enough, but love without discipline, it's like a car with no fuel. It looks good, but it's not going anywhere. Let me tell you a story, Mabe. This is your story too. There was a time you were motivated, hungry, worked out, to had a plan, you were building something, you were the man Sheffers full in love with, and then, slowly comfort crept in. You stopped waking up early, you skipped the gym, you delayed 3 non-reactive masculine frame your dreams, telling yourself she loves him, that's enough. But something in her eyes began to change. She started losing not because she stopped loving you, but because you started losing yourself. You see, women don't just love low you wear, they fall in love with what you stand for. And nothing screams strength louder than self-discipline. Water said just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. Did I care about applause or reward, cared about showing up daily for himself. Self-discipline isn't about buying, it's about consistent, about doing the hard thing when no one is watching, waking up at 5 o'clock. Even when you're tired, turning off Netflix and working on your goals, saying no to short-term pleasure to protect long. Let me ask you how would she look at you now if she saw you leaving with discipline agent, if she saw you focused, driven, refusing to waste your potential? How old she feel watching you grow in teeth? Man, you've promised you'd become bed, cause here's the secret. Self-discipline isn't just attractive, it's a sorostress. Shows a woman that you respect yours, and a man horsebacks himself, automatically commons respect from others, including her. When you stop chasing dopamine and start chasing excellence, everything change. Your energy shifts. Your presence depends. Your eyes tell a different story, not of fragrant or neediness, but of purpose and control. And maybe, just maybe, she'll feel that shift. Maybe she'll say to herself, it's different now, he's back. But whether she comes back or not doesn't matter. You're not doing it for here, you're doing it for you. You're building the man who wakes up early, a nauseous word, who makes himself proud even in silence. That's the man she misses. That's the man the world needs. Ask yourself today, not does she still owe me, ask, do I still love the man I've become? Because once you answer that, everything else falls into place. For confidence. Have you ever been with her but not really there physically in room sitting next to her phone in hand, but your mind was somewhere else, work, stress, worries, or maybe scrolling through Instagram? while she spoke, hoping she wouldn't notice you weren't fully with her. Now think back to the beginning for deep, grounded presence, one you whirl in when every word she said made you lean closer when you looked her in thighs, like she was the thing that mattered in the university, felt it then your presence. That's Picard attention. The kind that said, I see you. You mattered to me. But over time that presence faded and one day she shocked, not because she stopped loving you, but because she stopped feeling you. You see, presence isn't just being Thor, it's being alive and femme. It's what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, confine yourself to the present. So simple, but so hard, right? You get distracted, you get pulled into her thoughts, you worry about tomorrow, regret yesterday, and miss right now. Theon Place Love Actually Lives. Let me share a story. There was a man, Hodord, us woman. He'd say, I love you. Every morning he bought gifts. Took care that bam thing was missing and she felt heaved to be on his phone at dinner. He'd half listened when she shared her heart. He thought he was doing enough. But one night she looked at him and asked, where did you go? You're right here, but I can't feel you anymore. That sentence shook him because in that moment Harry realized she wasn't asking for more things. She was asking for more him, his presence, his attention, his soul. And maybe this hits close to home for you too. Maybe the woman you loved started feeling like she was competing with your phone, your distractions, your Theodos, not because you didn't love her but because you forgot that love only breathes in the now real presence. Is one. You look her in the eyes and eyes of everything else disappears when you law not just with your ears but with your heart when she can feel your energy. Focus your stillness. And here's that most men miss presence is rare and women crave it in a world full of noisy and distractions. The man who can sit still, lock eyes and feel the moment is the man she remembers forever. So let me you, when was the last time you gave a woman your undivided, no phones, no stress, no multitasking, just to open real flathier? If the answer hurts and good Bacchus, now you have that word to change it from this moment forward. Decide, Tobe, present not just with her but with yourself, with life, with the little moments that matter. Be back as when your turn to presence. You didn't just win her heart again. You win 5 unshakable integrity, back 5. Integrity when she'll lift, or when things started falling apart. How did you feel when you were alone? I don't mean alone, in a room full of people. I mean that row showing when the texts stop, when her fades from your hoodie, when you in bed staring at the ceiling wondering if she's moved on. Did it break you or did it wake you? You see, most men are terrified of solitude. We chase connection, we fear silence, we beg for attention, not because we're weak but because we never learned how to boo Holly on our own. Now think back, remember when you first met her. You had your own VBR, own space, your own rhythm, yower and desperate. You weren't chasing you or just being you, and thoughts what drew her in. But over time, something shifted. You became more a brother and less about you. Your identity rapid aired her affection. And when Shep pulled away, so did your sense of self. That's where Marcus Aurelius gives us gold hest. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. Let that hit you. He's telling you thought solitude isn't your enemy, it's your power. You see, when you become comfortable in your own companion, very thing changes. You stop needing women and start attracting them back, 'cause the confidence isn't loud, it's silent. It's Ian sitting alone in peace, not because he's lonely, but back 'cause he's completely lit. Me tell you a story. There was a man, woe went through heart. It shattered him Hesperald. He looked for a rebound, begged, he cried, he drank to muck treeing, to escape the ache, until one day stopped running. He sat in insolence, and it hurt, but he stayed, and over time, something magical happened. It to hear himself again, he picked up his old passions. Reginald Heath, Jim. He took long walks without music, just thoughts, Hebagan, to rebuild on Donna Day. He looked it in the mirror and saw a man again, not a half, not a broken piece, but a full-grounded, unshakable man. That's what women secretly crave. A man, doesn't chase validation. A manhood, afraid to be alone because Enos is enough. So lem ask you, you sit in silence and still feel powerful. Can you be alone on a Friday night and feel complete? Not because you are numb, but because your whole life you can learn that if you can solitude, you'll never beg for love again. Because love will be drawn to. The Manuel doesn't need it to fill over and board. Solitude isn't a person, it's a temple. It's where your power is reborn. And once you reclaimed that six prio, you remember the first time you saw her cry. Maybe it was over something's mill, a bad day, painful memory, something you didn't even fully understand. But in that moment you held here. You didn't have to say much. You were there, calm, strong, steady, and she melted into you, not because you felt anything, but because she felt safe in your energy. Now, let me ask you this. Did you feel the same when you were angry and you were anxious when you lashed it out, raised your voice, or shut down completely? Did she still feel safe? Or did your emotional waves start to drown her? You see, one of therapist's secrets most men never learn is to women don't seek quiet confidence, not needy validation, don't fall in love with chaos. They fall in love with calm, not the fake kind of calm. Silent treatment, the cold holder, bottling it all up until I explain. Talking about real image. Marcus Aurelius once said, "OW, you have power over your mind, note outside events. Realize this, and ya will find strength." And that right there is the core of masculine energy. Let me tell you a story that may sound vanilla. There was once a man, in love, a deep love. They had good days, bad days, but one night she said something that struck a nerve. It wasn't meant to hurt them, but it didn't. Instead of pausing, he snapped. He reset his voice, and slammed a door. Maybe even left the room, and in that moment he saw her eyes didn't show fear. They shouted, "As a point not." Because he was angry, Bob. The man she leaned on wasn't there anymore, and in the silence that followed, he realized something painful didn't need him to be perfect. She needed him to be anchored. Use emotion. It's about feeling everything but choosing how you respond. It's the difference between saying, "I'm upset, let's talk," one, "I'm calm," and saying, "Whatever, do what you want, I don't care." One shows strength, the other shows weakness. Wearing armor, women err with toe, feel energy. They don't need you to talk every day or suppress your emotions. What they crave is a man who can contain, weigh storm without sinking ship. So let me ask you, how do you handle anger? How do you move through strays, heartbreak, frustration? Do you control your emotions or do they control you? Because here's the truth. A woman will trust her heart with a man who has mastered his own, the man who can sit in discomfort and choose peace, the man who doesn't let ego or impulse dictate her actions. That's the man she respects. That's the man she stays for. So to day 10, just aim to be the strongest man in the room, be the constant, the most grounded, the one who doesn't flinch when life shakes, cause emotional controlacentist, a stoic virtue. It's Theret Dorweto, unshakable love, short story of Theto men. Let me tell you, Estri, two men walk into a restaurant. One wears a $10,000 watch, tailored suit, and final stoke takeaway plus action steps, drops his keys to a Ferrari on the table, orders the most expensive bottle of wine, brags about his business, and constantly checks his phone. The other wears simple clothes. He doesn't talk much, but when he does, people listen. He looks everyone in the eye. When he speaks to the waitress, he smiles, and this is her name. When he listens, it's like the world slows down by the end of the night. Which men do you think the woman at the next table is drawn to? Here's the truth. Women didn't remember your wallet. They remember how you made them feel safe, seen, valued, grounded. Money may impress, but presency and tragedy and emotional strength make a lasting impact. Here's the truth, me friend. Money might get her attention, but what keeps her is you. Not your bank account, not your car, not your status, but your mindset, your presence, your stoic strength. Marcus Aurelius never chased applause. He chased virtue and indoing, so became unforgettable. So ask yourself, what do women want, but what kind man are you becoming? Because when you build yourself from the inside, love stops being something you chase and starts becoming something you attract with. That said, thanks for watching, until next.